Good morning, dear students. Here I bring for you a short video on the background and authentication of Chief Seattle's speech, the first chapter in your short story book. So please go through this video to get some idea about how far this speech of Chief Seattle is authentic and what kind of background it has. Dear students, I know that Chief Seattle's speech is a chapter in your treasure trove book of stories and poems, and if you have already gone through this chapter, you have found it to be a bit strange or different from the rest of the short stories which you have in your book. So there's nothing to worry about it. Here I have found some information from the internet which I am making into a video now, and if you listen to it carefully and also see what comes up on your screen, you will be able to get some idea about the background and also about the chapter as a whole. So in the introduction it says, over the years Chief Seattle's famous speech has been embellished, popularized and carved into many a monument, but its origins have remained inadequately explained. Understood as a symbolic encounter between indigenous America, represented by Chief Seattle, and industrialized or imperialist America, represented by Isaac L. Stevens, the first governor of Washington Territory. It was first published in a Seattle newspaper in 1887 by a pioneer who claimed he had heard Seattle or Sealt deliver this speech in the 1850s. No other record of the speech has been found, and Isaac Stevens' writings do not mention it. Yet it has long been taken seriously as an evidence of a voice crying out of the wilderness of the American past. Now, about the author. Seattle was a great speaker and skilled diplomat, born in 1786. His real name in the Lushoot Seed language was Seath, which the whites found nearly impossible to pronounce. Seattle's mother, Sholesta, was Duwamish, and his father, Chiwewe, was chief of the Squamish tribe. Seattle was born around 1780 on or near Blake Island, Washington. Seattle grew up speaking both Duwamish and Squamish dialects. These were the two languages he spoke, because father and mother were from two different sections of, or the groups of Native American Indians. So he spoke both his father tongue and mother tongue. Seattle earned his reputation at a young age as a leader and a warrior, ambushing and defeating groups of tribal enemy raiders. Like many of his contemporaries, he owned slaves captured during his raids. He was tall and broad for a Puget Sound native, standing nearly 6 feet tall. Hudson's Bay Company traders gave him the nickname Lee Gross, which means the big guy. He was also known as an orator, that means he was a good speaker, and when he addressed an audience, his voice is said to have carried from his camp to the Stevens Hotel at First and Marion, a distance of 3/4 mile or 1.2 kilometers. Seattle was also a warrior with a considerable reputation for daring raids on other Indian tribes. After smallpox wiped out many of his people, he realized the inevitability of the coming tide of white settlement. In 1854, he made his speech on the differences between the Indian way of life and white way of life. Here, Indian means Native American Indian, not people of India, not our country. It is, we are talking here about the native red Indians or American Indians. So, the differences between the Indian way of life and white way of life, to more than 1,000 of his people gathered to greet the government's Indian superintendent, Isaac Stevens. A year later, the chief signed a treaty with the United States government ceding much of the area on which the city of Seattle now stands. Most historians agree that the speech was delivered in the Salish dialect. Dr. Henry A. Smith is believed to have taken notes and translated into English. Thus, it is Dr. Smith's version published in 1887 which is referred to mostly and which you have been given in your short story book as the first chapter, Chief Seattle's speech. Now, Chief Seattle died in 1866 at the age of 80, 1 year after the city named for him passed a law making it illegal for Indians, that is Native American Indians or Red Indians, to live in Seattle. About the story, there is a great deal of controversy surrounding Chief Seattle's speech of 1854. There are many sources of information, various versions of the speech, and debates over its very existence. The National Archives contains two short documents. Here the National Archives refers to the National Archives of the US government. It contains two short documents attributed to Seattle. In both, he talks about accepting the treaty and how his people are looking forward to receiving the things promised by the government. Mr. Burge said he believed the Smith translation, which mentioned nothing about the whites ravaging the environment, is close in spirit at least to what Seattle really said. By most accounts, the speech was stirring, carried by the chief's strong voice. Even the date and location of the speech has been disputed, but the most common version is that on 11th of March 1854, Sealth or Chief Seattle gave a speech at a large outdoor gathering in Seattle. The meeting had been called by Governor Isaac Ingalls Stevens to discuss the surrender or sale of native land to white settlers. Doc Maynard introduced Stevens, who then briefly explained his mission, which was already well understood by all present. Sealth then rose to speak. He rested his hand upon the head of the much smaller Stevens and declaimed with great dignity for an extended period. No one alive today knows what he said. He spoke in the Lushootseed language, and someone translated his words into Chinook Indian trade language, and a third person translated that into English. The speech given by Chief Seattle in January of 1854 is the subject of a great deal of historical debate. The most important fact to note is that there is no verbatim transcript in existence. All known texts are second-hand. Version 1 appeared in the Seattle Sunday Star on October 29, 1887. Now, these are the points related to the speech. Number 1, Seattle delivers speech in Washington in 1854. Number 2, he thanked the white chief for his greetings and friendship. Number 3, he accepted the white chief's proposition and says it was just. Number 4, speaks about their ecological and Native American land rights. Number 5, appeals to the white people to be kind and just to the natives. Number 6, wants the assurance of protection of his people by the whites. Number 7, offers greetings and friendship to the white people. And these are the 7 important points related to his speech, and this is the theme which you see on your screen. Through the speech that Chief Seattle delivered in Washington in 1854 in Squamish language, he attempted to forward a message of reconciliation and friendship to the white people. He spoke about their ecological responsibilities and respect for the native people. He felt that their hostilities should end and they should live in harmony. So the white chief should take the responsibility of protecting the Native American Indians. So that's a synopsis of the background of the speech which you have in your syllabus, and the rest of the details, anything else that you want to know, is available in my other video where I have given the introduction and I have summarized his speech. And also your workbook has enough information which you must go through and then read the text so that you don't have any problem in understanding his speech.